Let me take you back for a moment to the streets of post-war France, where life was simple, raw, and full of quiet beauty. Willy Ronis was there, camera in hand, capturing all. He wasn't just taking pictures. He was telling stories. Stories of people, of fleeting moments, of everyday life unfolding in all its humble charm. He wandered through the streets of Paris, strolled the markets of Provence, always with a gentle gaze. You'd see people in a bar, lovers lost in a kiss, workers standing tall during a strike. And somehow, every image had this poetic touch, soft, real, deeply human. Ronis didn't start as a photojournalist. He learned the craft in his father's portrait studio. But in the 1930s, he decided to follow his own path, documenting social change as it happened. His photographs weren't just snapshots. They were like little poems, honest but beautifully composed. That balance earned him a place alongside greats like Robert Doisneau and Henri Cartier-Bresson. Through his lens, even a crowd felt like a harmony of stories woven together, in natural light, in real emotion, in scenes that feel both grounded and almost dreamlike. That's what makes his work still feel so alive today. Willy Ronis was born on August 14, 1910, in Paris to Jewish immigrant parents. His father, Emmanuel, had come from Odessa, and his mother, Ida, from Lithuania. Emmanuel opened a little photography studio in Montmartre, while Ida gave piano lessons at home. From a young age, Willy was drawn to music. He dreamed of becoming a composer. And even though life had other plans, that passion for music would always echo through his photographs. In 1932, after completing his compulsory military service, Ronis had to put his violin studies aside. His father had fallen ill with cancer, and he stepped in to run the family portrait studio. It was during this time that he started to look at photography through a different lens. More than just work, it became a form of expression. The works of Alfred Stieglitz and Ansel Adams sparked something in him, and before long, he was exploring photography as an art. When his father passed away in 1936, Ronis sold the studio and became a freelance photographer. His first published work appeared in Regards. Not long after, in 1937, he crossed paths with David Seymour and Robert Capa and began working for Plaisir de France. By 1938 and 1939, he was documenting a workers' strike at Citroën and traveling through the Balkans. He also became part of the Association of Revolutionary Writers and Artists, alongside Henri Cartier-Bresson. In 1946, Ronis joined a Raffo photo agency, working alongside names like Brassai, Robert Doisneau, and Ergi Landau. If you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. It really helps the channel and lets me keep bringing you more content. Thanks for watching. He helped form the Group of 15, a professional photographers association, and later joined Les 30 by 40, a photographic club in Paris. At one point, he even became the first French photographer to work for Life magazine. Though he did fashion work for Vogue and Le Jardin de Modes, his photos always reflected a love for natural beauty. At the same time, he stayed true to his principles, like when he left Raffo for 25 years in protest after the New York Times published one of his strike photos with a caption he felt was unfair. By the 1950s, Ronis had also started teaching, giving lessons at the School of Fine Arts in Avignon, Aix-en-Provence, and in Marseilles. In 1953, Edward Steichen featured him in an exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. 5 French photographers, alongside Cartier-Bresson, Doisneau, Isis, and Brassai. 2 years later, he was part of the famous Family of Man exhibition. In 1957, he received the gold medal from the Venice Biennale, and in 1979, France's Minister for Culture awarded him the Grand Prize for Arts and Letters. In 1981, He also won the Prix Nader for his photo book on the thread of chance. He kept living and working in Paris for many years. But in 2001, he had to stop taking photos. He needed a cane to walk and could no longer move around easily with his camera. Still, he stayed active in other ways, working on books with the publisher Taschen. In 2005 and 2006, the Paris City Hall hosted a major retrospective of his work, Willy Ronis in Paris, which drew over 500,000 visitors. Just a few years later, in 2009, there was another exhibition at the Arles Photography Festival. Willy Ronis passed away on September 12, 2009, at the age of 99. Considered one of the founders of the so-called Humanist movement, Willy Ronis was a quiet observer of life, a gentle soul who wandered the streets with a camera and a heart wide open. He found poetry in the everyday. For Ronis, photography wasn't about grand statements. It was about honesty, emotion, and presence. Ronis belonged to a generation of photographers who believed that the camera could do more than document. It could connect. He walked the streets of Paris, Marseille, and Provence not looking for the perfect shot, but for the perfect truth. His photographs speak softly, but carry a deep weight. They don't shout, they whisper stories of working-class life, of quiet dignity, of fleeting happiness. There's something deeply human in every frame he left behind. You can sense it, the care, the respect, the deep belief that every person matters, no matter how ordinary their life may seem. Ronis didn't just take pictures of people, he saw them. And in doing so, he helped us see them too. His work reminds us to look slowly, to pay attention, to find beauty in the things we usually pass by. His photography wasn't about freezing time, it was about honoring it. He captured not just what people did, but how they lived, how they loved, how they endured. He believed that photography should tell the truth, but also express warmth. It should be guided by empathy, not just composition. For him, a good photograph was one that carried a piece of the photographer's soul. That's why his work resonates, because it's not just technically beautiful, it's emotionally alive. Ronis never tried to impress with dramatic angles or flashy techniques. His strength was in his sincerity. His photographs feel intimate, like shared memories. They don't just show us what life looked like, they remind us what it felt like. Even in moments of hardship or poverty, Ronis found light. Not the blinding kind, but the soft, golden kind that gently reveals, that comforts. His images reflect a belief in humanity, in resilience, in the small joys that make life meaningful. He often said he didn't plan his photos. He followed his instincts. He let scenes come to him, trusted his sense of timing, and above all, respected his subjects. This spontaneity gave his work a natural rhythm, a sense of truth that can't be staged. To look at Ronis' photographs is to remember that photography is not just about seeing, it's about feeling. He invites us to carry our camera not just with our hands, but with our heart, to approach the world with kindness, curiosity, and a quiet sense of wonder. His legacy is not just a collection of images, but a way of seeing, a reminder that life is not only happening in big events or grand moments. It's in the in-between, the ordinary, the overlooked. And when we pay attention, we find that the simplest scenes often hold the deepest meaning. Willy Ronis showed us that photography can be an act of love, a way of caring, a way of saying, I see you, you matter. Through his eyes, we learn that there is nothing more beautiful than everyday life when seen with tenderness.